Hi guys, welcome back to Stoic of a Whispers. I'm Amelia, and today we need to have a conversation most men think they understand, but very few ever master. Because if you clicked on this video expecting some kind of cheat code, some manipulation trick, some secret phrase that will make women instantly bow to you, then congratulations. We've already identified part of the problem. Women don't submit because of manipulation. They don't surrender because of pressure. And they definitely don't follow a man who's desperately looking for shortcuts. If that's your mindset, you're not leading. You're hustling for validation. But let me take you deeper. Over the last few decades, we've heard countless conversations about feminism, empowerment, independence, role reversal, modern dating chaos. And while these cultural shifts do play a role, there's still one timeless reason. The same reason that worked 60 years ago, 100 years ago, and still works today. A woman will only submit to a man if he is genuinely competent and can firmly display it. That's the uncomfortable truth most men refuse to accept. Not because they're bad, but because competence is hard. It takes time, discipline, sacrifice, self-control, and growth. And here's where it gets interesting. There are two primary reasons a woman will ever submit to a man: respect, need. Back in the 50s and 60s, a woman needed a man's financial support. He was the breadwinner. She relied on him for shelter, stability, and resources. That dynamic alone gave him moral authority. She submitted because survival demanded it. But today, women are going toe-to-toe with men in academics, careers, income, and opportunity. They no longer need a man to keep the lights on. The original foundation of male authority, financial dependence, has crumbled. So her reason to follow shifted from needing you to respecting you. And respect is not automatic. It is not assumed. It cannot be demanded. Respect is earned through competence. And competence looks like this. You're in control of your emotions. You stand firmly on your values. You know how to support yourself. You walk into a room with direction and confidence. Your life has order, discipline, and structure. When a woman sees that, something inside her softens. Submission becomes natural, not forced. But let's clear a common misconception. Right now, when I say financially secure, I don't mean Lamborghini money. I don't mean private jet money. I don't mean billionaire money. In reality, she just needs to see that you can support yourself, pay your own bills, live without depending on her, manage your life without sinking. Because here's a dark truth. A woman will never submit to a man she has to mother. If she has to remind you to clean up, if she has to manage your emotions, if she has to lead your decisions, she loses attraction. Her respect dissolves and her feminine instinct begins to harden. Women don't want to date their son, they want to follow their man. So, the first step is simple. Take control of your own life. That's the only time she'll feel inspired to surrender control of hers. And pay attention here. That kind of submission is the best kind because it's voluntary, organic, unforced, rooted in admiration, backed by desire. She should naturally fall into your frame because it feels right, not because you begged, not because you forced, not because you demanded. When she respects a man deeply, she submits to his principles, beliefs, mission, leadership, because she wants to, not because she has to. Artificial submission, manipulation, fear, pressure dies quickly. But real submission, the kind you don't even have to ask for, that kind lasts. And here's where men usually miss the plot. You must first become a man worthy of following. Women instinctively respect a man who has options in the dating market, not because he's a player, but because options prove competence. Deep down, she knows, if other women want him, he must bring value. And that quiet fear of losing you, that subtle awareness that you have choices, pulls her deeper into your frame. Before we continue, pause here because this next part reveals the mental boundaries you must draw if you ever want feminine submission to feel effortless. If you truly want a woman to submit to you, then listen carefully, because this next piece separates the men women pretend to respect from the men women quietly follow. A woman cannot and will not submit to a man she feels she has to lead. If she has to manage your life, make decisions for you, control the direction of the relationship, negotiate your masculinity, then you are not the man she's surrendering to. You're the man she's babysitting, and nothing kills attraction faster. So, you must draw lines in the sand, clear boundaries that communicate. This is who I am. This is what I stand on. This is what I will not tolerate, not through aggression, not through yelling, but through calm, unwavering certainty. Women don't follow men who explode emotionally. They follow men who stand firm emotionally. And here's the dark psychological twist most men overlook. When you refuse to be disrespected, you instantly become more desirable. Why? Because masculine boundaries create feminine relaxation. When she sees you stand up to disrespect, hold your ground with friends, protect your dignity in public, stay firm when challenged, she feels something ancient activate inside her. This man can protect me, and protection is the root of feminine surrender. Don't confuse this with ego, it's biology. A man who doesn't defend his own frame will never be trusted to defend hers. So, no, don't be a pushover among your friends. No, don't tolerate disrespectful jokes that cross the line. No, don't shrink when someone challenges your opinion. You aren't being rude, you're being masculine. And here's something most men desperately need to hear. It's extremely healthy, even attractive, to disagree with your woman sometimes. Not to fight, not to dominate, but to show I can make decisions. I don't need your approval to lead. When you believe something is right, stand on it. That assertiveness, that quiet authority immediately triggers feminine admiration. Because here's the secret she'll never tell you. She wants a man who will lead even when she tests him. And yes, she will test you. Not because she's evil, not because she's manipulative, but because her biological survival depended on choosing strong leaders. A woman's emotional tests are simply her asking, "Are you still the man I can trust?" When you fail those tests, she becomes anxious, masculine, combative, and guarded. When you pass them, she relaxes, softens, and submits. That's why submission can never be forced. It's a nervous system response. Only safety can soften a woman. And safety doesn't mean weakness, it means capability. Here's the mental model: confidence, I can; competence, I've proven it; capacity, I can handle more. The more of these you demonstrate, the faster her resistance melts. Now let's get brutally honest. When a man refuses to enforce boundaries, he tells her without speaking, "You are stronger than me." And the moment she believes that, she cannot submit. Not logically, not emotionally, not physically. Everything in her biology shifts into defense mode. That's why men who over-accommodate, over-text, over-chase, over-explain always lose feminine surrender. The woman isn't being cruel. She's responding to weak masculine signals. So what's the solution? Develop a frame. Frame is your internal reality, your identity, your mission, your values, your standards. A woman should enter your frame, not drag you into hers. When she feels your frame is stronger than her emotions, she sinks into it because it feels like home. Your frame is your silent leadership. It's the backbone of your masculine presence. Never lose it. Before we continue, tattoo this into your mind. A woman does not submit to the man she controls. She submits to the man she trusts to control himself. Now that brings us to the emotional engine that makes feminine surrender effortless, something most modern men never do: giving love and safety back. Because authority without warmth becomes tyranny. Warmth without authority becomes weakness. Balance both and you become irresistible. Once you've built competence, once your frame is solid, once you hold your boundaries with calm authority, there's another layer most men overlook, and this is where submission becomes natural, not negotiated. Women are emotional processors, not emotional anchors, meaning they feel everything deeply, intensely, all at once. But they don't always know how to direct those emotions. That's where you come in. Because when she's overwhelmed, when she's scattered, when she's drowning and overthinking, when her emotions are louder than her logic, she's looking for a man who can stay grounded. A man who can say, "It's okay, I've got you. You're safe. Breathe. You're not alone." Not to fix all her problems, not to dominate her feelings, not to lecture her, but to become the rock she leans on. Those moments, the quiet ones where she's vulnerable and emotional and unsure. That is where true feminine surrender begins. And here's the dark psychological truth. The woman who respects your strength during her weakness will be loyal to you during your darkest storms. When you guide her mind, steady her emotions, ground her fear, reinforce her confidence, she subconsciously links your presence to safety. And safety is the soil where submission grows, because feminine softness doesn't bloom around chaos. It blooms around certainty. That's why women naturally relax around competent men. Their shoulders drop, their tone softens, their eyes change, their voice becomes gentler. Her feminine instinct whispers, I don't need to protect myself here. He can handle life. And when she feels that, she surrenders to your direction, your leadership, your plans, your mission, not out of fear, but out of trust. Let's take it deeper. There are two massive mistakes modern men make. Mistake number one, being emotionally absent. Men who disappear when she's emotional, who go silent when she's stressed, who shut down when she cries, accidentally communicate. When you're weak, you're alone, and nothing shuts off submission faster. Mistake number two, becoming emotional with her. If you mirror her panic, spiral with her emotions, or lose control alongside her, she instantly thinks, if he can't handle me, how will he handle life? When she's emotional, you go logical. When she's afraid, you stay calm. When she's lost, you offer direction, not as her father, but as her anchor. And here's the most important lesson in this entire video. When a woman feels safe enough to be soft, she automatically becomes submissive. You don't have to ask. You don't have to instruct. You don't have to control. Her nervous system does it for you. Submission is not an action. It's a response. And that response only activates when she feels protected, understood, guided, emotionally safe. This is why men who try to force submission always fail. A woman can fake obedience for a while, but she can't fake softness. And softness is the true sign of surrender. Now, this doesn't mean you become her therapist. She doesn't want a man who exists only to comfort. She wants a challenger, a motivator, a leader who pushes her growth. Sometimes leadership sounds like, don't quit. You're stronger than this. Sometimes leadership sounds like, rest. You've earned it. Come back sharper. Balance both. Because leadership without compassion becomes control, and compassion without structure becomes chaos. And let me make something very clear. A woman chooses submission. You cannot pull it out of her. You cannot force it out of her. You cannot logic her into it, but you can inspire it. When you become consistent, decisive, mission-driven, emotionally resilient, and steady under pressure, her feminine instinct tells her, following him makes my life easier. That's the key. Before we continue, burn this into your memory. Men earn submission by who they become. Women offer submission when they feel safe enough to bloom. In the final part, we're going to take this home and reveal why feminine softness dies in weak men, how respect turns into devotion, how to avoid becoming her son, and how to trigger voluntary long-term surrender. This is where everything clicks. Now that you understand the foundation of feminine submission, we need to address why so many modern men fail to inspire it, even when they want it desperately. And this is going to sting a little. Most men today want feminine softness, but behave in ways that kill it. They beg for attention, collapse when challenged, constantly seek permission, avoid decision-making, and treat boundaries like suggestions, then wonder why their woman becomes argumentative, defensive, masculine, aggressive, emotionally cold. Here's the harsh truth nobody wants to say. A woman becomes masculine when she does not feel safe being feminine. Her aggression is not natural, it's protective. If she cannot trust your leadership, she will lead herself. If she cannot rely on your consistency, she'll rely on her independence. If you cannot shield her emotions, she'll shield her heart. And once that happens, submission becomes impossible. Because feminine submission isn't obedience, it's relaxation. Her body relaxes when you are steady. Her mind calms when you are grounded. Her heart softens when you are consistent. This is nervous system psychology. Women don't choose submission with logic. Their biology chooses it with safety. That's why discipline matters. That's why competence matters. That's why emotional control matters. You are not just leading your household, you're leading her nervous system. But let me show you something deeper. A woman can admire you, be attracted to you, and even love you. But if she does not respect you, she will never submit. Respect is the gateway. Need is optional. Submission is voluntary, and respect is earned through decisive action, calm confrontation, consistency under pressure, progress over time, self-possession, mission over distraction. When she sees those traits, she instinctively thinks, I don't want to compete with this man. I want to follow him. That shift is subtle, but powerful. A crucial warning: never try to earn submission through fear. Yes, fear can trigger control, but control born from fear doesn't last. Kills intimacy, hardens feminine energy, rots trust from the inside. That's not leadership. That's dictatorship. A healthy woman does not surrender to fear. She surrenders to respect. And respect grows from reliability, clarity, presence, boundaries, protection, and demonstrated competence. Submission earned through fear is short-lived. Submission earned through respect is permanent. And now the final piece: give her love and respect back. A woman cannot relax into her feminine if she feels judged, mocked, ignored, or emotionally unsafe. Guide her, lead her, protect her, be her. Shelter in crisis, clarity in confusion, anchor in chaos, spine when she doubts herself. When you embrace that masculine role, she will find it easier to embrace her feminine nature. And when she's in her feminine, submission flows effortlessly. It's instinct, not instruction. Because long-term submission looks like this: she trusts your decisions, she supports your direction, she follows your pace, she aligns with your mission, she defends your character, she naturally yields to your leadership. Not because she's weak, but because you allow her to relax. Masculinity is not about control, it's about responsibility. And when you carry that responsibility, she gladly surrenders control. So if you're tired of women who fight you, challenge you, disrespect you, refuse to follow, stop criticizing them, and start upgrading you. Because once you become disciplined, stable, respected, assertive, mission-driven, emotionally anchored, the wrong women stop approaching you and the right women start recognizing you. A mature woman will never submit to a man who lacks mission, lacks direction, lacks reliability, lacks backbone. But she will willingly soften for the man who stands firm, walks tall, protects his frame, and honors her vulnerability. Burn this into your memory. Real submission isn't found. It's earned by becoming the man a healthy heart can trust. And with that, until the next video, I'm Amelia, and this is Dark Psychology. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.